to $8 million. You know, you're paying your girls $20,000 a pop, but it was all the babes of the day 20 years ago. So it was your Janine Lindemullers and your Tegan Presleys, Jessie Jane, very prominent in it, Carmen Luvana, a lot of these girls that, of course, have, you know, they're in their early 40s now. Janine Lindemuller's like my age, and Jessie Jane was 43 years old. They found her and her boyfriend at home in Oklahoma, dead from a suspected overdose. Her real name was Cindy Taylor, and she and her boyfriend were found at their home yesterday morning in Moore, Oklahoma. Somebody had called to send a welfare check out for them just to see how they were doing, and that's when they discovered the bodies.
How long do you wait to do a welfare check? Because I know people that they can go away for weeks at a time without, you know, talking to someone. So at what point?
That's the question, right? I mean, there's people who are like, until they get some kind of visual cue, maybe, if you don't have people around you,
like
the neighbor.
I get it when people like don't show up to work or something like that.
Or the neighbor sees mail pile up or something like that.
Yeah.
So Jessie Jane was really one of the big stars of her day in porn. And we're not going way back. We're going to like the early aughts. But she was hot stuff. She's in all the porn halls of fame. If you remember back the old Playboy channel, they had a show called Night Calls. Very popular show. She was the host of that. She retired in 2017 and then subsequently unretired 2 years later, which is what happens to a lot of these girls. They go, I've had enough. I've done this for 15 years. I've put my body through unspeakable things, and it's time to see if there's anything out there for me. And they find out there usually isn't. So they go, well, I've got some name equity. I am in the halls of fame, and so I will get back to it. You know, and then there's a big, you know, because internet porn now, these were largely girls that were doing it when it was DVD. So they go, well, I'll get out there and see what's going on. There's a great series of documentaries called After Porn Ends. First one's about a decade back. And it's, as the name implies, they're talking to these actresses who got out. And they did 2 sequels, After Porn Ends 2 and 3. They put a lot of work into the naming of the sequels. But those are really interesting because some of them
What were they supposed to name them?
Son of After Porn Ends?
Well, that sounds like it's about their sons.
Well, some of them did have kids.
Yeah, but I mean, that's not what the documentaries were about.
Did you see
I don't think there's any problem with naming it After Porn Ends 2 and After Porn Ends 3. And you know exactly what you're getting.
Listen, I'm just saying, pornography is a very creative field.
No, it's not.
Pardon me?
Not when it comes to the titles of the
You don't think
movies.
so?
Not when it comes to the titles of the movies.
Well,
no.
this was a documentary. This wasn't a porn film.
Well, you were
There
saying...
was no X-rated material in it.
Well, and again, when it comes to sequels, most of the time it's just a 2 and a 3 or a 4, especially when it's a documentary. If there is even a documentary that has a sequel part. I don't know why we're arguing so much over this, but I just think it's...
I'm not arguing.
It's just a fine name for it. I think
documentaries...
Porn Ends 2. Part 2. Part 3. Why would they need to come up with a creative name for it? What's a creative name for it? Come up with it.
I was joking. But
I know, but
Anywho,
come up with your creative name for it. I want to hear it.
After Porn Ends, these documentaries are very interesting because some of these girls do go on to things. You know, they'll become sex therapists or they will just find something else to do. But a lot of these girls, they get back into porn. They're like, it's the only thing I know how to do. Unfortunately, you know, I am 40 now or 42 or 43 or whatever.
Lisa Ann retired like 8 times.
Yeah, and Lisa Ann,
she comes back again.
She's breathing rarefied air, too,
right,
because she found a way to really have a second and third act. Getting in with sports. A lot of these porn stars do that. You know, their post-porn career has something to do with sports.
Mm-hmm.
Mia Khalifa did it for a hot minute, and but Lisa Ann has really kind of become like who were some of the other crossover people? Tracy Lords, but I mean she wasn't in porn that long.
Do you see Riley Reid's rap?
Nope. I was never a Riley Reid. She wasn't my type. No, I'm not into Riley Reid, but I know she's very popular.
She is.
Is it an X-rated rap?
Yes.
It is. It's nothing I
and
could
she
air.
drops the N-word several times.
Well, do you think that you get the tap from some of your black co-stars and they go for it?
No.
Okay. I'm just asking. I don't know. All right.
Don't. They think they have the pass, but they don't.
Well, that's why I'm asking. Do they?
Nope. They think
Why
they
don't
have-
you think so?
Because I know no black person is gonna give the pass. No one is.
I knew plenty of black kids growing up who did not care if white kids used the
That's
N-word.
different than
It wasn't for me, but
That's different than giving someone a pass. Like, yeah, sure, you can say it, or
well, that's what a pass is.
no, not caring is I'm not gonna tell you to do it, but you're a grown white person. Do what you want or whatever. Like, that's not a pass.
What's a pass?
A pass is a cosign.
Well, nobody's happy to hear the word. What do you mean a cosign?
But if
Yeah, you say it.
But because I'm not going to fight you for saying the N-word doesn't mean I give you a pass to say it.
I think it's a distinction without a difference.
Okay.
Well, anyway, I haven't seen the Riley Reid rap. It doesn't sound like it's great. I mean, is it good other than the N-word?
No.
Okay. Well, yeah, listen, you got to try a bunch of different things, but After Porn Ends is a wild series of documentaries.
The first comment I saw because this is from a while ago. This is from like years ago. But one of the first comments is, when I saw the Riley Reid rap, I made a premium Pornhub account just to block her.
Just to get back at her. So R.I.P. Jessie Jane, who ended her life accidentally, but also predictably. She and her boyfriend found dead in their home. It's been a rough week for Oklahomans, right? They want to the state wants to ban sexting for anybody who's not married, for Christ's sake. And they're going to put that giant tower in Oklahoma City, and they want to punish furries for God knows what. And
All
now,
right, well, they're
now
starting
Jessie
to get me.
Jane.
They're starting to get me. Punishing furries. Let's go.
Isn't that like a fetish for people?
It is, but it's because the right-wingers bought into all that nonsense about kids in school needing litter boxes. And so the state legislature, because I guess nobody's doing anything that's trying to help people anymore, they're trying to ban that, even though it's not really a thing. And more to the point, a group of psychologists did a long-ranging study, and they basically said that there's no pornography addiction is not really a thing, that it's mostly moral panic. When people talk about how pornography is warping people's brains or a generation, and they say that it's not inherently addictive. They said it's really, you could say that somebody's addicted to working out or shopping or whatever, but they said that there's nothing to suggest that there's anything inherently addictive about pornography or that it really warps people's brains. Dozens of studies that they've demonstrated that the vast majority of people who watch porn don't feel addicted or out of control or anything like that. Violence in porn is a whole other thing, right? That's really where the two, you have schools of people who would rather see, they get more freaked out about violence than they do about sex, and other people vice versa. So, when you get your chocolate and my peanut butter, that's where those two groups really start fighting about those things. But R.I.P. Jessie Jane there in Oklahoma.
I'm gonna be a porn star so's I can screw the ladies, snort cocaine all day and ride around in my Mercedes. Lesbians and get those chicks and women in their 80s. I am gonna do them all cause I am not afraidies. Porn star living, oh I can see it now. Caviar and fine cigars, on these I make my vow. I will be the biggest porn star the world has ever seen. Just me and a woman and a monkey and a midget having sex up on the screen. I'm getting on the train tonight to find my fortune and fame. It's only a matter of time till everyone will know my name. I've gotta practice up, gonna work on my aim. So if anyone wants to help me out, I'd be more than game. Porn star living sounds to me like bliss. I just hope that I don't get raging syphilis, cause I will be the biggest porn star the world has ever seen. Just me and a woman and a monkey and a midget having sex up on the screen. Just me and a woman and a monkey and a midget having sex up on the screen.
I got money here for you. It's $1,000, courtesy of the Buzzard Bookie. You get 4 of these to wrap up the day today, and then we'll start it all over again tomorrow. So listen closely, and I hope you win. Good luck.
This is your chance to bet with the Buzzard Bookie and win $1,000 now. Enter this nationwide keyword at WMMS.com. Credit. That's credit. Enter it now at WMMS.com.
Alan, those documentaries should have been called Pulling Out of Porn.
Oh,
Now we're talking.
There it is.
And then pulling out of porn harder. And then pulling out of porn with a vengeance.
Mm-hmm.
Now.
With a vengeance. Yeah. Cavaliers lose by 10 last night. First of 2 in Milwaukee, but the Bucks are a good team. So 126-116 was the final. They're off tonight, but they're still in Milwaukee, so they'll play the Bucks again tomorrow night before they come back home to play the Clippers. Cavs-Bucks tomorrow night, 8 o'clock, so 7:30 is when that pregame will begin. Doc Rivers is going to be the new coach of the Milwaukee Bucks. That did not take long. They pretty much crossed the T's and dotted the I's as soon as the rumors began. He has an agreement in principle. He's talked to them. They've talked to him, and he was with the 76ers and kind of couldn't get things going there, and so he is moving to Milwaukee to become the coach of the Bucks with Giannis and Damian Lillard and Matthew Lillard, unbelievably, is now playing for the Milwaukee Bucks.
He's tall.
Went from SLC Punk to playing Shaggy to being a center for the Milwaukee Bucks.
No,
I'm sorry?
that's not.
So congratulations to Doc Rivers, who sounds like a character on Deadwood, but is, in fact, a basketball coach. Did he used to coach? Where was he before the Sixers? Didn't Doc Rivers, was it college or was he like out west somewhere? I thought Doc Rivers was with, I associate him with other things, I guess.
He was the Clippers coach. He was the Sixers coach. He was the.
I know what I'm thinking. He was the coach, because he's from Chicago. He was a high school basketball coach with when friends of mine went to this school.
That's
in
probably not likely.
Maywood, Illinois.
I think he was still playing.
Well, something. He's part of like this high school. He comes back and does stuff because friends of mine went to that high school, and so maybe that's what I'm thinking.
Because in the 80s, he was playing basketball.
He was playing basketball
in the NBA.
Right. Yeah.
So it's hard to coach high school basketball when you're playing in the NBA.
Well, no, not coaching then, but at some point, like he poked his head back in.
Okay.
I don't know. But he's now up there with the Milwaukee Bucks. So ostensibly, maybe that puts him closer to his family. Maybe that's why that makes it attractive to him. If you listen to us on iHeartRadio, on the app there, you can leave messages, a little talkback button, and send those to me.
Hey, Alan, hate the show. You know, this splitting the check at the end of a date, it's just ridiculous. I mean, I can't believe it's even a thing. Like, why? We need to go much further. You know, when I cut the grass, I only cut half the grass, and I tell the wife to get out there and cut the other half.
Nice.
You know, it's the same thing when I'm pumping my gas and we're both in the car. I'll get out, pump half the gas, turn off the pump, get back into the car, and then wait while she gets out and pumps the other half.
Oh, that's it. Okay, yeah, well, he might be onto something. I got a lot of messages from people after we were talking about that guy on Tinder who, first date, split the check with the girl, and she was not pleased, and he surreptitiously recorded their conversation. And I guess I was a little surprised that the people who hit me up, it came down 50-50. I don't know why that surprised me. I guess I thought that in 2024 there'd be more people that were like, hey, what's the big deal about paying on a first date? Most people were or at least that half were of the mind that, like, if you ask someone out, you're on the hook for the bill. But I think the best advice is what Bill and Mary were talking about yesterday, the lunch date, the coffee date.
Yes.
The walking date.
Ice cream.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm happy to drive, but...
No, you have to walk to get there to prove to me that you're serious.
Is that what it
Prove
is?
your love.
Yeah.
Prove your dedication to the new person.
Yeah. That's what it was back in the day, boy. It was like you had to figure out what bus line was closest to their apartment when you were making a decision if it was going to go any further. Because you'd meet people randomly, and then you'd go, well, it would be a New York thing if Mary didn't have, a boyfriend. she'd be like, I can't date you because you live way too far away from me. I'll never see you. And that's how it was in Chicago. It was kind of like, I can't, if I got to take the 151 for 45 minutes to see you, it's not going to work.
Well, that's exactly what it is a lot of these comics talk about like dating apps and stuff, and they set so you can set a radius on dating apps for how far away you want someone to be as a potential match. And a lot of people set it to a half mile or less. Yeah. Because they're like,
I know about the radius because of Poundcake.
They're like, almost no one has cars. So, because like, I mean, in Ohio, people are setting it to 40 miles.
Right.
You know, they're like,
yeah, I put mine 100 miles.
Because you just hop in the car and go.
Yeah,
Right.
but they're like, you cannot date someone who lives 5 miles away from you. Like, it will never work out. I'm like,
you're going to wait
insane.
in the winter time to get
Yeah.
public transportation to go see them.
Yeah, my one buddy was talking about he was bummed out because he feels like, you know, he's not making any money. I said, well, why don't you widen your radius? He goes, what, to 2 miles? Are you out of your mind?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna walk or take a train 2 miles to see somebody because that's far.
Yeah, I mean, I got real lucky with Gwen because we met when she filled in on my show because she thought that there was a job opening and it wasn't. It was a whole other thing. But it just turned out that we only lived like 20 blocks from each other. So that worked out. Because if she'd been like, oh, I live, on the far south side, I'm like, that will not work. That would suck. Who knows what that alternate universe would look like. So yeah, here, if you're on the apps, you're like, yeah, I'll drive. What do I care?
It still shows me people.
What, you live out in Chesterland? Yeah, okay. I'll see you in 20 minutes. See you in a half an hour. You did what?
I said it still shows, like, even when I put my radius to, like, in-state, like,
in-state.
Well, I'm saying I will put people, like, I could consider Pittsburgh. I'm probably not going to date you, but I'll put it on the radius just for shrimps and giggles. And, like, I get people in Columbus. But I told you, I've gotten people in New York, Toronto. Like, I'm a big hit in Toronto. The Toronto gays love me. And I'm like, well.
They saw you on that nude beach.
Yeah, I'm not going to drive 6 hours, 5 hours, 4 hours to meet you. That's too far. And they're like, oh, well, one day when I have off. I'm like, you got to schedule a time when you're off to come and see me?
Yes, people are busy.
Well, then no.
They can't just drop everything to leave Toronto and see you. Or even Pittsburgh. That's only 2.5 hours away.
10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Result of the play will be a first down. Replay first down. 15 yards from the end of the run. First down.
Poundcake, I'm coming to see you. Get ready.
Nope, I don't play those games anymore.
You're going to go down on me. You don't play those games.
There was a guy, the guy that catfished me or whatever. He was coming from, what was it, Ann Arbor? I forget what it was, but Michigan. And that's not that far. That's 2 hours, 3 hours max. And he couldn't even do that. He faked a death in order to get out of it. So I'm not taking chances.
That's how badly he didn't want to come.
I meant to tell you guys, I got to find this. Hold on. I got an email today. Like Alan was talking about his email yesterday about
I got all that money.
The lawyer trying to give you money or whatever. I got one. Okay. I'm Alex Morgan representing Rich Roll and overseeing an engaging podcast interview series. They want to pay me $2,000. Now, I wanted to ask Cody.
To make an appearance on the podcast.
Sounds legit.
Well, I wanted to ask Cody if Rich Roll was married or related to Rick Rufus.
Kroll.
Oh, that was Kroll.
Kroll.
Oh, this is. I got so excited. It was Rich Roll, though.
Yeah, but Rick and Rich are the same name, right?
That's
so
what I'm saying.
That's even more on the nose.
Yes. It's a paid opportunity. You receive $2,000 US each episode.
That is the best kind of opportunity, is a paid opportunity.
Yes.
And in US dollars.
When do you record it?
Well, this says no need to worry about travel arrangements, plus language won't be a barrier, as you can utilize software to seamlessly translate your language into English. So
sounds like they're trying to get you to invest in whatever app that is.
I just wanted
that
to
seamlessly
know
translates
if
into
Cody
English.
had heard of Mr. Rich Roll's management team.
I have not.
Because they want to pay me $2,000 to have me on their podcast.
Well, congratulations.
Yeah.
It's a big get for them. And Mary Santora. I got to take a break here. If you want to send a text for anything, 35192 to get me there. AlanCoxShow.com. You can watch live, and we'll be back.
The Alan Cox Show on 100.7 WMMS. And everywhere you go on our free iHeartRadio app. There are many harsh